all to stand up now. We have such an interesting lesson we're going to be doing today. So come, let's stand up. Hurry up, grandmas and grandpas. Hurry up, hurry up. Now, I want us to sing our theme song for this lesson. We all know what it is, right? Let's go on 3. 1, 2, 3, go! Science is fun! 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 Okay, have a seat, grade 3s. Have a seat, have a seat. Now that we know that science is fun, remember yesterday I sent you home and I gave you some homework to do. Alright? Yes. Who can remember what were we talking about yesterday? Yes, Asani.
We discussed about pollution.
Yes, we discussed about pollution. Who can remember what we said pollution was? Come on. Yes?
It's dirty in the water.
It's dirty water. That's one of the examples that we gave for pollution. Who can give me another example?
It's dirty air, teacher.
It's dirty air. Fantastic. It's dirty water. It's dirty air. Yes, Cindy?
Papers on the floor.
Papers on the floor, littering. That's a part of which pollution? Papers on the floor? Paper pollution. Paper pollution. No, Joanna. Yes?
Land pollution.
Exactly, Asanda. It's land pollution. Fantastic. Give us all the land. And that's what we were doing yesterday. Now, yesterday I gave you all some homework to do. And I said you need to go home and find out what are these 3 different types of pollutions, right? I said you can either use the internet. If you have a computer at home, you can ask your mommy or daddy. So, I know you guys don't like this part, but I need to now get to the homework. So, where am I going to start? Vanessa, tell us.
I am water pollution, and people put dirt on me. They put cans, they put paper, they put plastics. And they also put these things on lakes and rivers and dams. And also these things affect people because people drink water from the rivers.
Yay! That's good, Vanessa. Amazing, Vanessa. That was such good work. Who can just give us another idea of what Palisa was saying? What was Palisa just telling us now? What was Palisa? What was Palisa's character? Yes?
Water pollution.
Water pollution. We saw Palisa's mask and she was telling us about which pollution? Water pollution. She said, where can we find water pollution?
In the rivers.
In the rivers?
Lakes.
In lakes? And in dams, in oceans, in ponds, in any kind of water that we have on earth, right?
Yes.
Right. So our next character, which forms part of our homework, is going to be Cindy. Come, Cindy.
I am noise pollution. Noise pollution is so harmful noise that is made by transport and big machines in the factories. It harms people.
Let's give a hand to Cindy. Thank you so much, Cindy. What pollution was Cindy talking about? Yes, Palisa?
Noise pollution.
Noise pollution. Very important, girls and boys. What is noise pollution? Cindy was just talking about it now, yes? That is a very good example. That is what it is, a car hooter. And where can we find this noise pollution?
Sometimes in the factories.
Exactly. Sometimes in the factories.
On the streets.
On the streets. What makes the noise on the streets?
Cars.
Cars. And what else?
Yes.
And who else makes some of that noise pollution? It's us. Right? We also contribute towards that noise pollution when we play loud music, when we scream with our friends like how you do at break time. We also are part of that noise pollution. Thank you so much, much, Cindy, for completing your homework. Next up, we have Joanna. Air pollution. Air pollution is when your daddy smokes and there's dirt in the air. When your daddy is driving a car through, then the smoke coming out, and then the air is now polluted. Yay! Ooh, Joanna, you used that nice big word for us. She said, instead of saying pollution, she said what? Polluted. Polluted, the past tense for pollution. But anyway, getting back to what Joanna was saying, what was Joanna talking about? Yes, Cindy?
Air pollution.
Air pollution, right? It's written there on her mask. She was talking about air pollution. And who can tell us what is air pollution?
Teacher, it's when the air is dirty.
It's when the air is dirty. Okay, Palisa, when the air is dirty, if I go to the toilet and do number 2, is the air dirty? Is it air pollution? Yes. Of course it's air pollution. It doesn't matter how it comes out. It is definitely air pollution, right, Beatrice?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now the last one, Asante. Come show us your homework.
You pollute me day by day, and now I am so sad. You pollute me day by day, and you have no fear. Can you imagine how beautiful would I be if there was no littering? Look around. There are papers on the floor. I am land pollution.
Yay! Oh, that was so beautiful, Asante. She did a bit of poetry there for us. I can see your mommy helped you out. That was very nice, very touching. Who can tell us what Asante was talking about? To design this form. But firstly, I want you all to grab a chair so that we can discuss what we see. Quickly, grab a chair, everyone. There we go. Okay, there we go. So, what do you see here? Anything. Point out anything that you see. Yes, Asante?
I see a car similar to teacher's car.
You see a car that you said? I'm so glad you saw that. Yes, this is teacher's car. What else do we see? Palisa?
I see a river, teacher.
You see a river, which is very, very important. That's the first thing I wanted you guys to notice. Here's the river right here. Who else sees something very interesting? Yes, Cindy?
I see trees.
You see trees. Here are our beautiful trees. And Joanna? Cindy? You see my little people here? Don't make fun of my little village people. Yes?
I see a door, teacher. What is that,
See
teacher?
a?
What is that? A
What is
door.
what? A door. Oh, okay. We see a door. Look at the top and tell me if you can't see what that door means. What is it?
Means like it's a home, teacher.
It's a home? Not really. Does your home have these many chimneys?
It only have one.
It only has one, right? So this can't be a home. Yes, Asante?
I think it's a school.
A school? No, it can't be a school. Yes, Joanna.
It's smoke.
Yes.
It's factory.
It's a factory. Most definitely, ladies and gentlemen, it is a factory, right? We've got smoke here on the top. Come and touch it. Come and feel it. Come and yes, it's supposed to be very, very hot. You don't touch smoke, all right?
Yes, teacher.
This is our smoke, right? Everybody felt how our smoke feels?
Yes.
This is our factory, right? And what do we use factories for? Who can tell me what do we use factories for? Why do we have factories? Yes?
My mother worked at a factory.
Your mom works at the factory. What does she do? You don't know what mommy does at the factory, but she works there, right? Yes, Balisa?
Teacher, I think they make juice at the factory.
Some factories make everything. In order to have pens and clothes and juice and sweets and food, we need to, even sometimes hair. Teacher's hair was made in a factory. So we all need factories. Factories make these things for us. There are these big, big houses that make all of these wonderful things for us. But factories also do something very, 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 very bad. They do something very, I know, right? They do something very bad. And what I want us to do is think about today's topic. Remember, what's the topic?
Pollution.
Pollution. What type of pollution?
Water pollution.
Water pollution, right? And factories do something very, very, very bad. So who can guess what factories do?
Pollute water.
They pollute water, right? That's a very easy one. You took today's topic and what factories do and you put it together, right?
Yes.
So I want us to look at our model again, right? And I want us, this is smoke. You touched on smoke, right?
Yes.
So I want us to see where we can see different types of pollution here. Remember the homework we gave you? Now try to identify where are the different types of pollution we can find here. Yes, Palesa?
Air pollution.
Air pollution, why do you say it's air pollution?
The smoke from the factory. Teacher.
Come show us the smoke from the factory.
It goes up and pollutes the air.
Exactly, Palesa. All of the smoke goes up and it pollutes the air. Let's give her a hand. She was able to see that. What else? What else pollutes? Yes, Cindy.
The car, teacher.
Oh, teacher's car also does something very bad. It pollutes the air. You see here at the back. You know when a car goes vroom, vroom, vroom. All of that black smoke that comes from the back, that is also air pollution. Who saw that one? Who saw that one? You did. Congrats, Cindy. What other forms of pollution can we see on our model here? Yes, Hassan.
Water pollution. The river is dirty. I see
Amazing!
papers.
Yes, Hassan. She gave us such a full sentence, such a full answer, and she told us that, say it again for us, Hassan. Say it again.
The river is dirty. There are papers in the river.
Yes, the river is dirty. We can see papers in the river. What else can we see in the river, Joanna? Fish. We can see fish, but how do the fish look?
They look sad.
They look sad.
They're red, they're angry.
I've never seen a sad or angry fish. Yes?
Teacher, one fish is out of the river. It's not inside.
Yes, Asane. Very interesting. Can you all see that? One of the fish is outside of the river.
They're up.
And what does this mean? Fish live, they need water to breathe. They live in water. So why would a fish, when would we ever see a fish outside of the water?
It's when he's dead.
dead. So what does it tell us about this fishy?
But my father brings fish from the river at home and we eat it.
Yes, but that's dead fish. But now we're talking about fish that live in water, right? So yes, that's fish that you guys used. Boop. Your father goes and he fishes out for fish and he brings them home. But now, for this fish outside the river, your father doesn't take a dead fish outside the river. That's not good fish to eat. He takes fish that are inside the river, right? So why do you think this fish is outside of the river? Asante told us that the fish is dead. Why do you think the fish is dead? Yes?
Because pollution, water pollution.
Water pollution! That's amazing, Joanna. Water pollution, right? The fish is outside of the water because of the water pollution. But it's not only papers that we see inside the river. What else can you... Let's think about the factory. Let's look at the factory and let's try to see what else could be making the water dirty.
The waste from the factories.
The waste from the factories, right? I just told you that factories make all of these fantastic things for us. They make hair and sweets and juice, right? But obviously when these factories make those things, you come, you walk into your door, boop, 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 boop. Joanna's mom goes to work. She works in the factory. She works with the machines. And then sometimes when you go home after school, what do you see coming from the factories? You see a lot of smoke. As soon as you leave the schoolyard, you can see the factory that's right across the road, the sweets factory. There's a lot of smoke that comes out of that factory, right? But it doesn't just come out in the air. There's also other waste that needs to be washed out into the river, which is a very bad thing because the things that they wash into the river are not always healthy things, right? It's all of the chemicals and all of the nasty things they use just to get teachers' hair looking nice, right? And all of this goes through a tunnel outside of the river and there you go. Bloop. It jumps in your water. I'm serious. It's not a joke. It jumps right into your water in the river. And now imagine all of these people in this village. We'll call this village of mine Wakanda. Now imagine in this Wakanda village, you have Mr. here who wants to go and wash his clothes in the laundry. You know that there's some people that use rivers to wash, right?
Yes.
Not everyone has a washing machine, right? So some people go to the rivers and they wash their clothes there. Now imagine you are wearing your nice clean clothes and then you just start itching. And you itch and you itch and you itch. All of that comes from what? The chemicals in there, right?
Yes.
Yes, you saying no, Joanna? Yes, it's very, very bad. Some people actually take water from the river, right? Yes. And they boil the water and they wash with it, they drink it, they clean with it. That's the water that they use because they don't have the normal taps we have to just open and close, right?
Yes.
Right. So this is what happens when people pollute our water. It affects everything it is we do. We cannot swim in the water. Fish die in the water. So Joanna, your dad might not bring you fish anymore. You might not be eating fish anymore. And we can't wash our clothes in the river. It's very bad what the factories are doing. But what else can cause water pollution? What else can cause water pollution? Besides just the factories, I want you to think out of the box now. Think about when you go home or when you visit your aunties or your uncles that live in those villages. What happens? What else causes water pollution? Who else pollutes the water? Who makes it dirty? Yes, Cindy?
People pollute water by throwing cans and bottles in there.
Fantastic, Cindy. Cindy just gave us a very good answer. She said people also pollute the water, right? So not everything is to blame on factories, but we are also responsible. Say that to me.
Responsible.
Being responsible means that you're taking the blame yourself, right? Right. So, besides throwing cans and papers in rivers, what else do people throw in rivers that's not so nice?
My cousin in KZN, she goes to the river, then she do two. Then when you look back, it's gone.
Alright, please. So, we're back at our table, and this is where our experiment is going to be taking place. Now, over here we can see we have 3 tins, 3 containers, and who can tell us what's inside each container? You don't have to look deep, but what do you almost kind of see?
Sand.
Yes, you see sand, so all of our containers have sand. And then over here, what does this look like?
Oil.
This looks like oil, right? I stole this from my car, don't tell my car. And then over here we have a bottle of water, right? And here, I'm gonna explain this to you. Here we have so now teacher's going to do the experiment for you, and then you do it by yourselves afterwards. So let us just go back to what we said again about the levels. So between 0 and 7, the water would turn reddish, especially when it starts going to 0, it'll be red, and that means that it's very acidic and we can't really use it, we can't really drink it. When the water is at 7, it'll turn green. The litmus paper will turn green, and that is when we can see that, oh no, the water is neutral, we can actually use it, right? Yes. And then when it goes right up to 14, those are the bases, which are also quite dangerous and we cannot really use them, right?
Yes.
Right. So now let's do the experiment together. Over here, I have some, I want you to pass this around for me. We have some sand and clean water. Doesn't smell like anything else in there. And here, we have our sand and some mud. Looks very gross, right? That's some sand and mud. And then over here, we just have basic sand, which we are going to mix along with our car oil. Okay?
Yes, teacher.
Right. So now, yes, it's just normal sand, my darling. So now, we are going to, with the teacher, we've already poured a little bit of water in here. I'll just pour a little bit more water, right?
Yes, teacher.
Right? And then we'll pour some water in here. Oh, look how that water's turning. And then we pour our water right in there, right?
Yes.
Oh, this water, it looks so dirty. So, we have our water in our sand with all of our funny mixtures inside. Now let's put in some of teacher's car oil. It's very, very, very small, but it's gonna work nonetheless. Right? Wanna smell that for us? It's got a strong smell, right? Yes. It's mix, 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 mix. There we go. Mix, 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 mix. There we go. You do know that water and oil doesn't mix that well, right?
Yes, teacher.
So teacher really needs to put her fingers
It's like
in
water
there.
and paraffin.
Yes, it's like water and paraffin. Very good, Asante. And there we go. There's our oil. And we have it in our container. Now teacher is doing something very wrong. Teacher is not wearing any gloves for this experiment. But you guys know that you're supposed to use gloves, right?
Yes, teacher.
Whenever you're working with any kind of chemicals, you need to always, always, always use gloves. Okay?
Yes, teacher.
So now, let's get into the fun part. So I'm going to firstly, which one should I dip it in? Which one? That one.
That.
Okay. Let's dip it into the car oil and we'll leave it there for a few minutes. Just a few minutes. And we'll see how it turns. We have to wait, right?
You won't see it, Joanna.
So now we're going to look what color it changed into. And there we go. Who can tell us? Look at this and then have a look at your chart. And how does the water look?
No, it's not. There's red there up.
Right?
Yes.
So what color did this turn into?
Red.
A pinkish reddish. So if we want to look at it on our scale, it would most probably be a
Yes.
A 1, right?
Yes.
Right? And what does that mean? We can't use the water, right?
Yes.
We cannot drink that water. It is not good for us and it will make you very, very, very sick, right?
Yes.
I'm going to put this one aside and then take
Teacher, you have a lot.
Yes, and some of these are going to be used by you. So the next one we're going to use is this one, right?
Yes.
Now who remembers what was in this mixture?
It was mud.
Mud and water, right? And sand. So what color did it change into? Purple, right?
Yes.
It turned into purple and we can all see that. And what exactly does that mean for us? Purple means it's what? What did we say purple was? It's a
Base.
Purple is a base, so can we use it?
No.
No, we can't use it. We can't use it, right?
Yes.
There we go. We put it right there. And then for the last test, take out one more of that litmus paper. Oh, teacher's hands are full of car oil. We dip it in there. And what color is our litmus paper?
I see a greenish color.
You see a greenish color, right?
Yes.
And what does green tell us on our chart?
Tells us that it's neutral.
It tells us that it's neutral.
Yes.
Fabulous, amazing, grade 3s. Give yourselves a hand. So, our green color tells us that the water is neutral. Obviously, it might not be clean, but in order to use it, you can boil it and put some chlorine in that just so that it can get rid of most of the bacteria that's in the water, and then you can start using it, right?
Yes.
Now, grade 3s, you guys are going to be doing this experiment on your own. Asande, please give everyone. Okay, firstly, let's teach us divide you into groups. Joanna and Palisa, you are together. Asande and Cindy, you are together.
I want a Sunday.
Joanna, we need to learn to work with everyone, right? Asande, each group is going to be getting 3 litmus papers, right?
Yes.
Right? Awesome. Now put your litmus papers on the table. Now I want each group to choose their own container of water first. Oh, Asante went for that one first. And now I want us to work in our little groups. I want us to test the water, and then you look at your charts, you compare what it's like with your litmus paper, and then you see whether you can use it or not. Pollution, but I still wanted us to go into what it is we do today and what it means for us, right?
Yes.
So, what did we learn today? Anything, absolutely anything. Yes, Palisa?
We must not pollute water.
We must not pollute water. And why must we not pollute water?
because teacher, it kills animals and it kills people cannot drink water that is polluted.
Yes, people cannot drink water that's polluted. It kills the fishes and the animals that live in the water. Cindy?
We learn about how to test water using the litmus paper.
Yes, very big word. Litmus paper. That's the type of paper that we use in order to test whether we can drink the water or whether we can't drink the water. Yes, Cindy?
But teacher, how can we test water when we are at home and we don't have the litmus paper?
Very good question from Cindy. How can we test water and we do not have litmus paper? Wow, girls and boys, this is exactly what you need to do when you are at home. If you are going to be collecting water from the river, or you suspect that the water coming from your tap may not be the healthiest water to drink, always take that water and put it on the stove and boil it for a good 10 minutes. Boil that water, let it boil, so they can get rid of any bacteria that is there, and then you let the water cool, and then your water is safe to drink, right? If you have chlorine, then you can put just a teaspoon of it or a teaspoon of bleach inside the water just to make sure that all of that bad bacteria is cleaned, and then you can drink the water, right? But only do it with an adult around, right?
Yes.
You do not do it by yourself, but you do it only when mommy asks mommy to do it for you or daddy to do it for you, and always ask them if the water is safe and clean.
Teacher, do we get sick when we drink contaminated water?
Yes. So let me explain what contaminated water is for those of you who did not understand during our experiment. Contaminated water is water that has many dirty things inside. So I can't really say it's water that has mud, it's water that has dog poo, because you do know that dogs run around the rivers. Sometimes they do number 2s and number 1s, they're close by the rivers, and it goes into the water, right?
Yes.
So contaminated water is also water where there's been dead fish inside. It's water that's very dirty. Many things that are making that water dirty, right?
Yes.
Anyone else who has a question? Yes, Joanna?
We learned colors.
Colors, yes. We learned about our pH scale. We learned exactly what pH was, and we learned about our pH scale to see whether water is an acid, whether it's neutral, or it's a base.